I think that this pandemic has changed the way we think, has changed the way businesses think about real estate. Why put money into, we have offices in Connecticut and New York. We have a showroom in New York. I mean, why are you putting all this money into these spaces when your employees have proved that they can go above and beyond working from the comfort of their own home?
Working at events since 2005, I've always been inspired by people coming together to share ideas. I'm Amanda Younger, and I'll be your host on Happy Hour, where I share a drink and a laugh with guests over stories and our hope for the future of the live event experience. Today, I'm speaking with Lindsay Caprioni Rummell, the Director of Design and Product Development of Ladies Footwear. Wow. And one of my special quarantine buddies. What? A thank you to Springbrook Hollow Farm Distillery, located on 200 acres of land with fantastic views of French Mountain of the French and Indian War fame. The location has been a source of water for centuries to the farmers in the area, and this clean, unprocessed water gives their spirits a unique flavor that cannot be replicated. I'm currently enjoying their Adirondack blended bourbon whiskey. It's delicious. Another thank you to 14 Hands Wine, inspired by the unbridled spirit of wild horses that once freely roamed eastern Washington, measuring just 14 hands tall. That means that they're tiny horses. It's the width of your hand is the measurement, so about 14 of these hands, and that is the size of the wild horses found in eastern Washington state. Had no idea. This is a symbol of pioneering spirit. Can be tasted in their wine flavors. I encourage you to try them. Also, thank you to Cheeky Cocktails for their fresh ingredients. Have I mentioned this before? Because I think I have. Today, we use their fresh lemon juice and their simple syrup to build a fabulous New York sour. Oh, it's coming. You'll see it. It's beautiful. Be sure to check out their products online and use the code HAPPYHOUR for a special discount. Special thank you to Luxemont Media. You create, we capture. Be sure to continue the conversation with us online at eventspeak.com. Subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify and iHeartRadio, and favorite us on Stitcher to get all upcoming episodes and help others find our show. Be sure to comment below. We love as much feedback as possible in our early stages. Promotional giveaways in the works, so check back in soon. Together, we can make the difference in live events. All right, welcome back to Happy Hour. Today, I am drinking the New York Sour. Holla! This is with the Springbrook Hollow Farm Distillery Adirondack Blended Straight Bourbon. It's a long title. Cheeky fresh lemon juice and cheeky simple syrup, shaken and topped with a red wine floater from 14 Hands Winery. I have an amazing guest for my infamous quarantine. I would like to welcome Lindsay.
Cheers, darling. Just
Yes.
like when we were living together.
I know, I miss you.
Only at 6:30, so we're an hour and a half late.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
Cheers.
Oh,
Oh, I miss sipping our first cocktail of the evening together.
usually around 6. Yeah, I know. Okay, Lindsay, tell our listeners who you are, what you do, and what you're drinking for happy hour, obviously.
I am Lindsay Caprioni Rummell, and I am a designer working in the fashion industry, more specifically women's footwear. I am drinking for happy hour my signature drink, red wine. Super boring, I know. I went back and forth. I asked you last night, I was like, should I go with the scotch? Because that's what I used to drink back in the day. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, you know what? I don't drink that kind of stuff anymore. I'm just going to get sloppy, and I better stick with what I know.
A bold woman with a bold choice.
A bold red.
Stick with what you got. We actually first met during a happy hour, if I recall, over at the rooftop lounge in the Royalton over on Park Avenue.
Oh, when we were there, it was still the Standard, correct?
Yes, it was the Standard then. Yep.
And they were doing their summer frosés.
Yes, and it was I actually think it was was it my first frosé or your first frosé?
It was my first frosé because
Your
Aunt
first
had been
frosé.
talking about them forever. And
Got it.
finally, she got us all there. It was my first frosé, and I've been drinking them ever since.
That's right.
But yes, that's the first night we met. And then we went there after my wedding.
That's right. That's exactly
Came
what
full
we did.
circle.
I know. We were like, we're back in I remember this roof tap. Except
And
that time it was like, meet this cousin and meet this brother of oh, okay.
it was right before I had met Mark. I think I met Mark a couple months later.
Yes. Yeah, you did. Yeah, because that was a different happy hour. See, we get together on happy hours. This is what we do.
Yeah, we tend to turn any hour into happy hour, so it worked.
And then of course during in March, we'll get to COVID in a minute.
Okay.
Maybe.
We're still in COVID.
I know.
Not together.
Let's talk about pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
Where we hung out at many a cocktail bars, sipping many a things. There was a couple of times where we were supposed to meet you out and you didn't show up until after midnight for like dinner.
Was I working? Because that sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
But yeah. God, I said to Mark the other night, can you remember what it's like to sit inside a restaurant, in a crowded restaurant, dim lights, candles on the table, chatter all around you. People are so close, you can hear their entire conversation and break up and make up.
Yeah.
It's such a foreign concept at this point. Mm-hmm. It blows my mind. And our family has been really lucky, but there's just been so much suffering too. And it breaks my heart. It's not just that we have to stay inside and we can't go out to eat and we can't shop and we can't, be with our friends, but there are so many people with loved ones that are going through a horrible, horrible time. So yeah, it breaks my heart all around.
Yeah. And your usual kind of process, even just working in footwear, it involved a lot of travel. You did a lot of travel for, just for production. You would end up in China or Brazil or wherever. And then even product launches, you would be in Milan. And how is that going?
Well, yes, to that point, I was in China at least 4 times a year. Mm-hmm. Back in my 20s, I was there 6 times a year for 30 days at a time. But now in my older age, I've cut it back to 4 times a year. And that just had to abruptly stop. The Europe travels had to stop. I was actually in Europe when COVID blew up.
I missed the DVDs from you.
Those were fun back in the day. Yeah, it's been difficult. It's definitely been a challenge. Not only do we have to get used to the fact that we're no longer in an office and can touch our product and touch these leather swatches and see the colors in person and all that, but we're not there to watch our samples and our production go down the line in China like we do for all of the major seasons. Mm-hmm. We have 6 seasons in a year, and for 4 of those big ones, we're there watching our samples. Wow. So it's definitely been a challenge. We've had to rely a lot on our team there. So this about my company. We have a big, big office in China, and each brand has a team of about 10 to 15 people working on it. So we've really had to rely on our technicians and their eye and their taste and their expertise to get the product where we want it. So what comes with that is a lot more work for us because it's late nights. It's doing video conferences with China at 10, 11 p.m. It's challenging, but at the same time, you really can see how your potential can grow when you're faced with these challenges. And it's been great to see how everyone stepped up and how we can still deliver a beautiful product without us obsessing over every little detail in person.
And you actually do like full design. Like if I recall, when we were during our quarantine times, you were sketching and sending photos of drawings that you were doing. Right. Like you woke up with coffee and you're drawing.
That one night I pulled almost an all-nighter because we had sketch review the next day with all the executives in the company. I remember I was sketching all night, and then I think a few days later you were doodling in your book or something, and I saw what you can actually do on paper, and I wanted to kick myself and punch you because I had no idea you were so artistic. I would have had helping me that entire night.
You can help me draw shoes. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
I'm enlisting you next time.
Oh.
No, but it is, I'm involved in the process and my whole team from start to finish, from concept to production. So it's
that's a lot of heart going from actually sketching something on paper. So I can imagine going from, and then picking and feeling the fabric, and is this the look and feel, and then actually, being a part of the process physically, and now that's going to be more of a reliance on others to do it for you, and I guess communicate back what the feel of it is.
Right. It's especially hard, to your point, with leathers. I mean, You really have to touch and feel a leather to know what you're getting. You need to play with it, pull it up, see the grain, and that's being done over video. We have such short development times between sketch and delivery of the samples to go to market with, to show to our buyers. So for China or Brazil to send everything to my house, you're losing, a week in transit each way, and we don't always have time for that. So I'm correcting leathers over video with my technicians in China, and it's really hard because that's something you need to feel and touch.
Yeah.
So but it's like I said, it's worked out. We've now covered, let's see, holiday, spring interim, trans. We've now done 4 seasons during COVID.
Yeah.
Woo. And yeah, it's not an easy feat. And now we're working on our biggest season, which is fall 21. So that will wrap up 5 seasons that we've done working virtually.
Wow. And on your product launches, those are usually big events. You guys are part of Fashion Week globally. Mm-hmm. So what is kind of on the horizon when it comes to how you launch these new seasons? How has it been? How's that?
So we've really leaned on marketing and our graphic designers and anyone that has any experience putting together virtual videos. We've hired models, and what we've been doing is called a virtual lookbook that we present to all the buyers. And it's basically each style is on a page, it's skewed out, photographed beautifully, and then in the corner is a video of the model kind of walking, if you will, down a runway wearing the shoes, and she'll do one per style. And we found that we tried a few different approaches in the beginning, and we found that this layout of the lookbook has worked the best. Again, it's not the buyer seeing and touching the product, but it's pretty well done, and it's working for us. So
yeah, I've heard that there's a lot of even just full-blown digital fashion houses right now just for apparel. I don't think that it's touched the footwear or anything yet, but I see that people are starting to think outside the box when it comes to physical to virtual. So that's an interesting trend to kind of see, and nice to hear that you guys are dabbling into it as best you can. And it also sounds like your vendors that you have abroad, it seems to be building your trust and your relationships there rather than having to fly so often to kind of micromanage the process. So that looks like that might improve for you in the future, maybe.
Yeah. And no, to that point, there's been a lot of discussion about that. The company spends an enormous amount of money flying us back and forth. It's not just my brand, it's designers. We are a big fashion house and we have many brands within the company. So they're constantly flying designers back and forth. And now that we see the potential of our partners overseas and what they can do, I think going forward, once COVID is long behind us, we will be able to travel less and have a better, personal balance to our work life. And that's something I'm excited about because, as I mentioned before, in my 20s, I traveled 6 times a year for 30 days at a time. So I was basically living in China for half of the year and I didn't really have a balance in my life. And now is the time when I would really like that. And as much as it's been difficult working from home, I think we've seen that we can do it. So when we are back in office, I don't know if it will ever be the same. I don't know if it will ever be full time again. It might be each team can decide, they might do 3 days in, 2 days out. I think that this pandemic has changed the way we think, has changed the way businesses think about real estate. Why put money into, we have offices in Connecticut and New York. We have a showroom in New York. I mean, why are you putting all this money into these spaces when your employees have proved that they can go above and beyond working from the comfort of their own home?
Yeah. And how has it been, at least on the feedback on the consumer side, on your online sales versus your brick and mortar? Of course, a lot of those retailers have been closed for the most part, but of course now they've been recently opening back up. Has there been a surge back in, have you watched the numbers change, or is online kind of steadily increasing this whole year?
I mean, online, brick and mortar, let's be honest, prior to COVID was really struggling. Mm-hmm. Retail was in a really bad place because .com is exploding in all categories and all businesses. Mm-hmm. March and April were really hard. They were really hard for everyone across the board, I think, because fear set into the American public. No one wanted to buy anything, whether it was online or in a retail store, because no one knew what their future was with their jobs, and everyone was nervous. Am I going to have money? Is the economy collapsing? Like, what's going on? So those were 2 really, really hard months for us. Our company, half of the employees got furloughed, as with many companies. And I think across the board, everyone in the fashion industry was struggling. However, since then, we've seen a huge rise in the .com business, and even retail is starting to pick up again. We're wholesale, but it's picking up. It's not where it was, but .com will go back to its explosion very soon. Wow. And we're starting to see her buying, I dare say, dress shoes. It's like a dirty word at this point.
I know, that was going to be my next question.
Cozy. Yes. It's all about comfy, cozy, dress shoes. You say that in a meeting and it's considered a dirty word. But, we are starting to see her get back into, she's wanting trend. She's wanting, when she can go out to eat outside, she does want to dress up. Mm-hmm. I got excited to dress up just for this podcast.
Yes.
Any opportunity. So we are seeing that start to emerge again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, gosh, we've been working from home, galas, this is a gala season. This is award season. And this is when everyone kind of goes out and buys their beautiful heels to be seen. And, but with those taken away, what's it like trying to design a more comfortable, shall I say, pitch? But
terminology, nice.
But to your point, I do find that when I have these recordings, everyone's pretty excited that they get to dress up for something.
Yeah.
I know for our quarantine, us living together, we created our own events just to break up
The monotony of
moment. Yeah. Kind of being stuck at home and trying to find a new pattern with new people that are also stuck at home with so many stresses of life around us and the world around us. You know, we had someone, Ava was studying, for school. So she's like, how long am I away from my classmates? And I'm missing them. And then ourselves, like we're missing our connection with our friends. And this is where we are. And I hope my parents are okay and I can't get to them. And we had to create our own events inside. And we created a tiki night and we did a couple of pool bashes.
Sunday brunch.
Which one?
Sunday brunch. We would get dressed.
Yeah, we did a Sunday brunch.
On.
That's
we
right.
do mimosas and a whole spread.
We did a toga nights where we had like Mediterranean falafels and hummus and stuff like that. Can't forget. We all got the white gowns. So
we definitely made the most, I think, of being stuck at home. I mean, even our outdoor movie nights. We tried to put a theme on as many dinners as we could just to give it some life, to make us feel excited about coming downstairs for the evening.
Yeah. So we made those events at home so that we had something to dress up for. We wanted costume nights and we wanted to wear the heels that we packed and we wanted to wear the dress that we bought online.
Oh, how many dresses were coming online. Anna and I were like beans, but they were all very comfortable. They were all jersey knit, very practical.
Ooh, what's this? Oh, it's soft.
And I still pull those out of my closet and think about our 4 months together.
I know. And then every time we were like, Mark, you have to fit in. He was like, I don't know.
He did buy a dress at one point.
We make him, it was a toga, and it was actually, it was for a Greek night, and we were talking about Gladiator because Marcus Aurelius.
That was a fun night.
That was a fun night. Oh, man. Well, I think that's about it for a lot of my questions regarding the footwear industry and how you guys have been evolving. Do you have any hopes or expectations in the future? What should we expect more from the industry?
I think our frame of mind has changed in the way we study, our customer and what she wants. We think of her going into her closet each season. What are those key items that she's pulling for? Where is she going? What is she doing? What is happening in the current climate that's driving business? So I think that listening to our surroundings, listening and studying our girl and staying true to who your customer is and who encompasses and embodies the DNA of your brand. And I think that's important and something that we'll keep doing and, trying to achieve as best as possible.
I love it. I love what you guys are doing. And I look forward to more wonderful, gosh, I'm almost done. Here we go.
Get it, girl.
I look forward to seeing more for our those that identify as she and hers, to be able to wear your footwear anywhere, including at home with an at-home event that they just need to dress up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Keep her feeling good and confident and strong.
That's great.
Even in the toughest of times.
Coming from a bold woman, right?
And comfortable. Comfortable is.
There's always comfort. Again,
I know what my
attention to your
goals
pitch. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much again for coming on board of Happy Hour. It was a delicious one.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to see you in a few weeks and cheers in person.
Yes. Okay. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun.